Hi, I'm Rich from Rich Mid Gaming, and in this, our second episode of How to Play Marvel Crisis Protocol, we're going to be covering off setting up our first game. We'll cover everything from how the crisis cards are chosen, how we decide which threat level, how to deploy characters, and everything else we're going to need to get us up to turn 1. So the first thing we're going to need is to find a playing area that is 3 foot by 3 foot. Now it's really important that we do stick to these measurements, as when we set up the tokens that we use for the crisis cards, they all need to be in predetermined places. We then need to include a minimum of 12 pieces of terrain, and these range from size 1 to 5, and we want the majority of them to be sort of size 2 and 3. A lamppost or a dustbin or something like that will be size 1, and large buildings would be size 5. Cars and trucks and that sort of thing will be size 2, 3 and 4. All terrain in Marvel Crisis Protocol is destructible, and it can also block line of sight. Terrain shouldn't be placed within a measurement 2 of any battlefield edge. Now, this can be done beforehand by one player, or players can alternate taking turns to deploy a piece of terrain themselves. So once we've got our battlefield ready, we now need to decide who will take priority of the game. The way that we do this is really simple. Each player rolls 5 dice, and the player with the most successes, which are hits, wilds or crits, wins the priority roll. Now, if both players achieve the same number of successes, we then take into account the number of crits and the number of wilds, with whoever getting the most takes priority. We then need to build our mission. So the player with priority gets to choose which deck, either secure or extract, that they want to keep, with the opposing player taking the opposite set of cards. So if I win priority and take the secure cards from my deck, you will then choose the extract cards from your deck. We then both shuffle our decks, remove 1 card at random, and then secretly select one of the 2 cards that we have left over. So a mission is always built on 2 crisis cards, 1 extract, 1 secure, 1 from my deck, 1 from your deck. Players then reveal their crisis cards at the same time, and the player who has priority can then choose one of the threat levels shown on these cards. The player who doesn't have priority can then choose which board edge they would like to deploy from, with the opposing player taking the direct opposite edge. Players then deploy the various objective tokens following the instructions on the crisis cards in conjunction with the corresponding map cards. So, priority determined, deployment lines chosen, and the battlefield set up. It's now time to choose the squad we're going to take into our mission. Avengers! Assemble. Players, in secret, select any number of characters and infinity gems up to the value of the chosen threat level. As discussed in our roster building video, if a player wants to play a particular affiliation and be able to unlock both tactics cards and their leader's special ability, more than 50% of the characters selected must be from the given affiliation. Players then choose the 5 tactic cards they want to take with them for the mission, and once both players are finished, the squads are revealed and it's on to deployment. Starting with whoever has priority, each player deploys 1 character in turn. Characters can be deployed no more than range 3 away from their given deployment line, but there are no limitations in terms of how close characters can be deployed together. If there is terrain in your deployment zone and you want to deploy your character on that terrain, we need to make sure that the base is not overlapping the top of the terrain in any way, shape or form. So before we rush into battle, we need to give each of our characters their power. Now, everyone receives 1 power during the power phase, but some characters can receive additional power due to certain abilities or conditions. All Asgardians, for example, have a trait that they gain 1 extra power during the power phase. Hulk gains an extra 2 power from an innate ability, and Magneto can deploy Metal Construct, and he gains 1 additional power, up to 2 for every construct that is deployed. And with that, we have everything set up and ready to go to head into the activation phase, with the player who rolled priority taking the first turn. Well, I hope you found that useful. If you did, leave me a comment in the comment section down below. And as you've made it this far, why not give the video a little like, subscribe to the channel, make sure that you don't miss out on any of our other content. And as always, stay safe, keep well, and until next time, bye for now.